Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is coming out in about a few days. I've got a couple of thoughts regarding the lead up to its release, both stuff that's happened recently and stuff that's happened in the past. Why are people so goddamn miserable? I'm sick and tired of hearing and seeing people whine and complain about every single game that gets announced or that gets released. What the hell ever happened to just being excited about a game coming out? This applies to loads of games and loads of companies and loads of trailers and lead-ups and all sorts, but as you show in the title, I'm going to do my best this video just to talk about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Now, I will start off by saying that I am a relatively new fan to this franchise. I didn't play it years ago, back when it was in its prime. You know, the videos of me on my channel playing it are the first time I've ever played it, and basically the first time I'd ever actually heard of the franchise as well. You can disregard my opinion if you really want to, because I'm not a die-hard fan or whatever, but as far as I'm concerned, you can suck my left nut. I've been playing games for as long as I can remember, so I think I'd know a thing or two about not being a gimp about hype surrounding new games. But for the most part, all I've seen in the comment section of almost every trailer or announcement or teaser for Bloodlines 2 is fucking, where this, where that, where it's not even an RPG anymore, where, what the fuck are the devs doing? Bro, shut up, please shut up. From what I can garner about like the feedback of the first game, which, you know, I can back up because I've played a bit of it and I love it, even the bit I have played. So, you know, compared to how much some people have played it, the feedback seems to be that there is basically no way that the second game can even begin to hold a candle to the first. I don't get why people are pointing that out, because odds are that doesn't ever happen anyway. Like, think about the next Elder Scrolls games, if it ever fucking comes out, if I'm not dead before that happens. There's almost no way the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be able to beat Skyrim in its everything, right? So I don't get why people are just moaning that it's not going to be as good as the first. Are you really that surprised? But honestly, surely you get that the sequels are 9 times out of 10 never as good as the first one. I can't work out how a second, I don't fucking know. Also, another thing that's worth mentioning is the people that are complaining that, you know, the second game, there's no point doing it. You're lucky you're even getting a second game. Another expansion to the already vast World of Darkness universe, which is what the game is set in. It was a tabletop, like, RPG game. A tabletop, like, D&D style thing, whatever you call it. There's so much background, there's so much lore and stuff. The fact that you get another fully fledged game to flesh out more of that universe is already great. The game was dropped by studios multiple times, and when things are dropped and then picked back up and dropped and picked back up, every single time it just creates a little glimmer of hope for the fans. And because of this, the devs are always going to be under loads and loads of pressure, and it's almost impossible for them to hit the mark. Whether that's a sequel, or even a prequel, those little glimmers of hope where people go, yeah, it's the best thing ever because of all of the hype leading up to it, you're just setting yourselves up to fail. And it's putting an increasing amount of pressure on, like, the companies as well, where the hype is so big, there's no way in hell the game is ever going to live up to it. I'm terrified for the next Elder Scrolls drop, because I've been waiting since Skyrim came out like 11 years ago. Here I am, sat like a mug, waiting for the new game to come out, thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to play it for over a decade like I have Skyrim. I can feel it's just not going to be as good as Skyrim. I know, I can feel it, like, down in my nuts. When you search the game up on YouTube, so many videos are like proper clickbait criticism. It's gonna piss people off. Don't waste your money. Don't bother. I played it so you don't have to. Clickbait criticism ruins games. I'm just gonna say it. Like, okay, yeah, you know, people do it to get views and clicks and shit, and I'm sure, you know, I'm probably, if I'm not already guilty, I will be one day of using some kind of clickbait title. But it ruins games. People read these statements and form an opinion on it before they even try it for themselves. Like, if the first thing they read about this game is, don't bother, then they're going to go into that game with the mindset of, why am I bothering? And it's already going to paint everything that they see in a negative light. And it cooks the game before it's been played. For example, Exhibit A, evidence that I'm making up. I'm a long-term Assassin's Creed fan. I started playing it back when Brotherhood just came out. I've gone back and played 1 and 2, and all of the Assassin's Creeds in between. I've played all of them. I was hyped for Mirage. It felt like a step more towards the original ones that I fell in love with, further away from the RPG games like Odyssey and Valhalla, which I played and I enjoyed. But I was hyped for Mirage. The setting looked amazing, the design looked amazing, the trailers looked amazing, everything. And before playing it, I thought, you know what, I'll watch a bit of gameplay, which I don't tend to do for this exact reason. But I thought, you know what, I'll watch a bit of gameplay, I'll engage with the community, build up a little bit of hype. And all I could find, for the most part, was just footage and clips and shorts and TikToks of little tiny things that were wrong with the game. Like little tiny bad animations, little quirks, little tiny things that are just insignificant comparatively to the rest of the whole game. But when I played it, when I finally got around to playing it, after pre-ordering it despite people saying, oh, don't pre-order it, which is another stupid thing to listen to. If you want to, do you know what? Side note, if you want to pre-order games, just fucking pre-order them. Not only does it help the studio, okay, yeah, if it's a game you don't enjoy, boo-hoo. You might pay a bit extra for pre-ordering it rather than just buying it on the day it releases. But people go, oh, don't pre-order games, it's EA, it's this. I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Track record, not great. If you want to pre-order it, shut up and just pre-order the goddamn game. Mirage, when I played it, all I could think about were the little bugs, the little tiny things that I kept seeing clips of, and I kept noticing them more so than if I didn't even know they were there. And it completely put me off playing the game because they were irritating me so much. Like, and you know, is that my problem? Perhaps, but the criticism online didn't help. Before I even played the game, I was looking out for these little tiny things that would ruin my immersion and, you know, indicate it's a not well polished game. But if I hadn't realised they were there, you know, I'm not that bright of a lad, I probably wouldn't have seen them. Back to Bloodlines though, after that, you know, well reinforced piece of evidence. Despite all the negativity from all of these channels and these content creators about how it's a waste of time, it's not faithful to the original, and all this fucking wow baby talk, they'll still buy it. They will still play it, and they'll buy it, they'll play it, they'll 100% it for content, and they'll still complain. They'll still complain and tell everyone else how bad it is and how the other people shouldn't play it, having just spent, what, 50, 60 hours on it themselves. Oh no, do you know what? You don't need it. I've done it for you. I know what you're thinking.
Me, sir? Isn't that the point of a video game review channel?
And yes, you would be correct in that assumption, my friend. But quite frankly, I don't give a rat's ass. Play the game yourself, form your own opinions, you fucking melt. At the end of the day, Vampire the Masquerade is one of the most iconic franchises in the vampire genre. And up until recently, they've had little to no competition. Like, if you said to me, like 5-6 years ago, name a vampire game, my first guess would have been the DLC on Skyrim. Like, I can't think, maybe I just didn't see them, but, you know, I couldn't name a big, like, AAA or whatever the hell you categorize it as vampire game, you know. But now, you've got upcoming games like Blood of Dawnwalker, which is coming out, which has obviously got quite a bit of hype around it, and it's an interesting concept. The pressure is obviously on to the Chinese room, which are the devs of Bloodlines 2, unless that's changed again. The pressure's on, so now they need to be making an engaging vampire game that immersively encapsulates, big words, players into the role of the vampire. A key part to a game like this is that dynamic that makes the game itself so alluring. That wolf among sheep feeling that you get when you play games like Assassin's Creed. You know, you're one person, but you're an army, and you have to encapsulate that feeling properly. And from looking at the trailers, they're doing that. You're going to be a vampire in and amongst vampires, in and amongst people. You're going to feel pretty fucking sick. You know, you're going to be able to like jump and fucking bite and teleport and use all these powers and stuff. What more do you want for being a vampire, you know? It could be worse. You could be prancing around the forest, sparkling like a fucking sissy. That was a Twilight reference, by the way. See? Thematic jokes the whole way through. Vampire game, vampire jokes. That's how we do things on here. The one thing that I've learned from the promotion of this game and the game's feedback so far is just that the gaming industry has become critical by default. Now, whatever happened to just being excited for a game? Well, don't you remember the joy as a kid when you'd be on your way home in the back of the car because you'd been trudging around town all day? You'd bought yourself, your mum or dad had bought you a new game, and you were sat in the back with a physical disc case in your hand, and you just read the back of the case over and over again. You didn't even know what half it meant because it was talking about like who helped make the game and what the terms and conditions were. But you were reading it, you were interested, you weren't sat back there going,
The traditional RPG elements of this game seem regrettably shallow, and I shall therefore form my opinion about this digital creation of art and design is that it is a puddle of wank before I experience it myself.
No, you were just sat in the back, excited because you're a kid. Bring that back. I'm about to make a bold statement. Here it comes. Cyberpunk was a classic case where people were being overly critical. Now, before you lynch me and throw rocks at me and do whatever else your sick twisted mind want to fucking do, I understand. The game was well and truly fucked. Like, it lacked any polish. On launch, I'm talking about. On launch, it lacked any amount of polish, and it was a buggy mess. However, I played Cyberpunk on release on an Xbox One X, the older generation console, before I had it on the Series X, and then before I had it on PC. I played it back then. I still play it now with hundreds and hundreds, if not pushing on thousands of hours. And the whole time, the first few months of launch, all I saw about it online, after 9 years of waiting, people going, where, unplayable, where, waste of money, where, give me my money back. The game was not unplayable. You could play it, and you could complete it, like I did, many times on the worst edition of the game. I completed the game multiple times on the old generation console. Now, yeah, there were a couple bugs here and there. Yes, occasionally your cock would pop out your trousers, and there's nothing you do about it. Occasionally someone would spawn in, T-posing. It happens. The game was not unplayable. Oh, you can't get through a quest. Load an old save, moron. It's not difficult. If you find it unplayable, it is because you do not have the patience to play a game that is not 100% perfect. I said it, and you know what? That's your problem. If you cannot deal with it, you have a patience issue, or you think you're too good to play a game that isn't 100% perfect. One or the other, Now, I know that will probably upset some people, I don't have a very, very big audience right now, and I probably shouldn't be insulting the ones that are watching the video. However, might be sat there thinking, oh, no, it's not my fault, it's the dev's fault for releasing an unfinished product. And yeah, you are right, you are correct. At the end of the day, it's the game company's responsibility to polish that product and send it out in a fit state to play. However, you, sat at home, cannot do shit about that. You cannot control the game company. What you can do is fix your attitude. Can't you? Devs do what they can. Companies do what they can, especially against the huge demand for release dates and details that the community wants way ahead of when things are ready. These companies are like, oh, we need to give them something. They're all going fucking nuts outside the front gate. Give them something. Give them a little crumb. Give them a little something to suckle on. And this is what happens. Even now, there are confirmed leaks and stuff that Cyberpunk 2 is in pre-production. I'm going to be 30 plus before that comes out. I don't want to know about it 6-7 years in advance. There's no need. I'm not gaining anything by knowing something's there. I'm still playing the first one. Don't tell me. It's same as Elder Scrolls as well. These are just classic cases of when they've gone, yeah, by the way, we're doing this fucking sick thing that they just tell you about to please all the shareholders and stuff. And then we're all sat there like a bunch of fucking muggins going, where's that thing you promised me? And they're going, you're not having it because we made it up, or we lied, or it's actually 35 decades away and you're not playing it because it's only going to be available on Mars. A bit of a stretch, but you get my point. I do get that sometimes you need community anger and fuel just to make positive changes. Like, for example, back to Bloodlines. See, I am tying it in. They had the issue, up until recently, 2 of the 6 playable clans were locked behind a premium edition paywall on launch. And understandably, and me and myself included, was outraged. I wasn't outraged. I was mildly irritated at best. I've got other shit to do. But lots of people were very, very angry. But guess what? The company listened, and now they're being given on launch. So don't get me wrong, sometimes a little bit of bullying, all within YouTube's guidelines, are absolutely necessary. 100%. It needs to be done. Sometimes they need external points of view to go, what the fuck are you doing? Sort it out. Oh, God, I'm getting really worked up over this, but it just makes me sad to see such a lack of optimism throughout an industry that has served most of us, if not all of us, and by all of us I mean the people that are possibly still watching this video up until this point, such a lack of optimism in an industry that has supported us the whole time. And it's something that we love and we do to unwind, to hype up, to relax, to, celebrate. We play games. So a little fucking sprinkle of optimism would go a long way. Now, whether the lack of optimism is brought on by the fans' lack of trust in companies that have betrayed them over and over and over again, or if it's just because the overly bitter communities are just doing it for a bit of online clout, hence the fucking over-the-top negative reviews and stuff. Either way, regardless of what it is, can we just be excited for stuff? And let other people be excited for stuff. If you see a trailer and you go, oh, that looks shit, I don't like it. You don't need to tell other people that they should think that it looks like shit. Let them have a look. If they think it looks like shit, great. Maybe they do. But if they don't tell them what they need to think. Mind you, what has their opinion got to do with your thoughts on it? He says while making a rant video on YouTube. But you know what I'm saying. Now, this isn't all doom and gloom. As I said, I'm extremely excited for this game. I've been waiting since the original announcement. Playing the first one, as little as I have played it so far, I'm very excited. I've been watching the recent clan trailers that have come out on YouTube that are about the different vampire clans in the game, like Ventrue and La Sombra and Tremere. And for the first time, basically since the games have been announced on any form of social media, the feedback is great. It genuinely, I scroll down the comments and I see positive after positive after positive. There are so many comments complimenting the trailers and about how well they're highlighting game details and about how some people are finally actually excited to play the game, having been unconvinced up until now. That's the kind of shit that we want to see and hear more often when it's deserved, obviously. I'm hoping that the hype for those trailers rides along all the way up until launch, which is about a week from when I'm recording this, and people go, do you know what? I was shitting on it because I'm a mindless titty and I did not form my own opinion for myself. I'm going to give it a go anyway. And then they play it and they love it. And they absolutely love it. And I hope that's what happens, because that might then teach some people that, hey, guess what? You don't need to hate on a game before you've tried it yourself. You know, it's one thing watching someone play it. It's one thing watching cinematics of it and deciding that the whole game is going to be shit. What? It doesn't even make sense. Oh yes, here's some pre-rendered footage of something that relates to the game. That must mean the whole game is shit. No, it's not how it works. I did not mean to go on this long, but I wanted to talk about Bloodlines and about how hyped I am for this game, but I really just went off, and I apologise for that, but here we are. We're here anyway, and I've said it now, and I'm not taking it back. So let's stop complaining about what we think the game is going to lack, or about what it's not going to do properly, or if it's not even an RPG anymore. I also don't understand that comment. I saw a couple of comments saying, oh, it's not even a proper RPG anymore. What? You're playing a role in a game. This is what it's called. Maybe it's not ridiculously in depth that you don't have 100 pages about your character's backstory. Some people work 9-to-5 jobs and don't have time for that. Some people just want a good immersive RPG they can just hop right into and just enjoy themselves. Maybe that's what. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you're not the target audience. Maybe you people who want an entire fucking 70-page fucking booklet about the size of your fucking character's ass cheeks and why they're so large. Maybe it's not the game for you. I don't know what I meant by that. That's the first thing that popped into my head. I'm very tired. Let's just get hyped for the shit that it is going to do. Have you seen the trailers? There's one bit where Ventrue, who's, for those that don't know, this cool looking vampire, it's like a regal royal kind of vampire guy, you know, a bit of a fucking high power geezer, controls the minds of like 5 people and tells them to snap their neck, and they all just go, and it's fucking sick. It's very cool. There's a Tremere, which is like a blood sorcerer. He boils someone's blood while it's in their body, and they just go boom. That's cool. I don't care who you are. I don't care, you know, I don't care who you are. That's cool. That shit slaps. And I cannot wait to jump into that game and spend some hours on it. I am very, very excited. But yeah, that's the rant over. That's, you know, key takeaway. Stop whining and bitching. Be excited for Bloodlines. It looks cool, okay? So just appreciate that you're getting a large-scale sequel to this incredible franchise, that it's already amazing, and hopefully this reinforces it even further. And if you enjoyed listening to me rant on like a fucking crazed maniac, and, you know, would care to see what I'm like when I'm less worked up and hyped and hyperventilating and upset, then, you know, you could subscribe if you would like. It would mean a great amount to me. But let's get on. I've already pre-ordered the game, so I hope you do the same if you would like to. If you don't want to pre-order it, don't pre-order it. I pre-ordered the huge edition. I got all the DLCs because I'm excited, and maybe I'm gullible, but you know what? It makes me happy, so nothing else fucking matters. But if you enjoyed it and you'd like to see me do some more stuff, then come and join me next time when I suck the blood out of Dracula's dick.